Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're out here with Shadowfax and Arwen again. It is going to be a scorcher today. It's gone from cool and windy to going to be a scorcher. So we're recording in the morning, so hopefully we can avoid the worst of the heat. Today I wanted to start talking about grooming your mini horse. I'm not going to show you how today. I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the tools you're going to need and why you should groom your mini horse. So there's more to grooming your mini horse than just keeping your pony pretty. I mean, Shadowfax is never clean. Let's face it, he's a little mud man. And because he's a little mud man, he's never clean. I mean, he's sort of kind of clean right now, but not really. He's got quite a lot of dirt on him, and he's a mud man. He loves to roll in mud. That's kind of, his thing. So because that's his thing, he's never going to be clean. Hi. He's looking at me. You're insulting me, Mom. But, so he's not a clean boy. But he still gets groomed regularly because there's more to it than just keeping him clean. Regular grooming allows you to spot issues with the skin or the legs, so you'll see them because you're up close and personal with those parts of the body. It allows you to spot any injuries, so maybe you didn't notice a cut on his underside, but when you're grooming him, you're like, hey, there's a cut here, it needs tending. So it allows you to notice all of that stuff. It's also a really good bonding activity. Okay, it helps the itching on horses because there's spots they have difficulty reaching. So a good groom will also help them, kind of get those itchy spots. It's really good. It makes the horse happy, makes him like you a little bit more because it feels really good. And it's just good for them. It's fun for you. It's just a good time. Grooming is good. Now, the proper tools do make it easier and more pleasant to groom your pony. Okay, I'm not going to bring out my tools. I'm just going to show you some images because my tools are in a bag and I forgot to bring the bag with me. And I just realized that as I was filming here. So I'm just going to show you some images. I'm just going to, edit the video and put some images to show you what I'm talking about when I mention these tools. The most common grooming tool for horses is actually a curry comb. Okay? These curry combs are fantastic. Rubber curry combs loosen dried mud and can give the horse a really good scratch. This is what you'll use most often. It's easy to grab, there's flies everywhere. I'm going to go get your fly spray, man. But curry combs are easy to grab, they're small, they fit in your hand, they're really easy to use, and they really make the horse feel good. So get yourself a really good curry comb. The exact shape is up to you, whatever feels good in your hand. As long as your pony enjoys the way it feels, you're fine. So get yourself a really good curry comb. Another good brush, a dandy brush, is really stiff. Okay, so that dandy brush, it'll help take the dirt off of your horse. If you've got like a lot of dried chunks of dirt, you can use a dandy comb to get that off. It'll really help you. A body brush is softer. These remove dust and help polish the coat. So if you want your pony to look a little bit shiny, you might want to get yourself that body brush. A shedding blade is really important when it comes, to mini horses because they shed like crazy in the spring. They get that really woolly coat and you need something to help you remove that woolly coat. Most of us, as it gets warmer, do like to help them shed out that coat. So it's a good idea to get yourself a really good shedding blade. They make them in kind of a miniature size for your mini horse. So you can get one that's more suited to their size so it's not so huge and you're able to actually use it really well and it kind of fits on their body a little better. But a standard shedding blade for larger horses also works just fine. It's not that big of a deal. A hoof pick is really important because it helps to clean the hooves. It allows you tending their hooves that way, getting down there and picking the stuff out of their hooves. Allows you to kind of spot problems. You'll be able to pick out stones. You'll be able to look for thrush. You'll be able to notice any tenderness, so you'll know if you have to call your farrier or your vet. It's a really good idea to be hoof picking on the regular. I like to hoof pick once a day just to make sure his feet don't get full of junk. But his feet are normally fine. I mean, he doesn't do a lot of running on stones. You've watched him free range before, and while he free ranges a lot back here, he really doesn't free range much on the driveway, which is the only place there's really stones. So he doesn't get a lot of stones or anything, but I still like to pick his feet out just to make sure that there's no problems that are coming up that I might need to call either the farrier or the vet about. You do need to be able to brush out that mane and tail. His are looking pretty good. For brushing the tail, I actually recommend getting a brush for humans. A detangling brush. I like the unbrush. He has his own unbrush. But use a detangling brush for humans, for human hair, and it works really well on their mane and their tail to keep everything kind of untangled and looking good. So I do recommend something like that. You also want to get a comb because a comb helps you separate sections if you are going to braid. You also, so those are kind of necessary things. Optionally, you might want detangling spray if your mini has a mane or a tail that's really hard to untangle. He doesn't. You can see his is actually laying pretty well, and I just run a brush through it, every couple of days. And he has no problem with tangling, unless he's been in the burrs, and that's a different situation entirely. But if your mini does have a lot of tangles, then you probably want to get yourself some detangling spray. You also might want to get some hair elastics. You can just use the hair elastics that are for people, just a nice hair elastic. You might want to braid the forelock if it gets caught in the bridle or the halter a lot. You might want to braid the mane to help keep it clean. You might want to braid up the tail to keep it out of the mud. So some people do like to braid their minis. We don't typically. Every once in a while you'll see them braided because I get bored. But we don't actually do it for any particular reason. He doesn't have a mane that tangles a lot or a tail that gets ridiculously dirty. So we don't typically braid. If you see him braided, it's because I got bored and was sitting out here and decided to braid his hair. But some people do it for a reason. So if you decide to braid your pony's hair just to keep it neat and tidy or to keep it clean, that is totally valid as well. And if you have a white mini like he is, or a gray, but technically he's a pinto, but if you have a horse that presents as white, you might want to get kind of a brightening shampoo for horses. They do make them. And we give him that a couple of times a year just to keep him shiny. So we'll bathe him in that. Bathing is not something you do all the time, but it's a good idea to get your horse used to it. So we use a brightening shampoo. You probably do want a horse shampoo. If you don't have a white presenting mini, then you're probably okay with a regular horse shampoo, but I do like to use the brightening ones just to keep him kind of bright and shiny and to remove any yellowing from the tail or anything like that. Just because we like to keep him bright and shiny. But those are the kind of things you're going to want to get for your mini to keep him looking good and feeling good. Remember, grooming is not just to look good. It is for the health of your horse, and it's a good bonding experience for the both of you. So do make sure you're grooming your mini on a regular basis. We will talk more about how to groom and when to groom in coming videos. But for today, that's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. See you tomorrow.